I really wasn't gonna do a video on Kiwami 3, but I feel like there are a lot of people hating on the game for very surface level issues, which is all fine and good, but I feel like there isn't enough nitpicking in these tweets and videos. This is because everyone who's posting negatively about Kiwami 3 have understandably lost their passion for Yakuza, either because of the Nagoshi departure, or Pirate Yakuza, or Kiwami 3, or Dark Ties, or the retcons, or the paywalled New Game Plus, or the delisting of the original versions of Yakuza 0 through 3, or the fact that they will listen to fans about some weird graphics but not the one thing their entire replies are flooded with. My point is, there is a lot of reasons why people have lost their passions for the Yakuza games. With that comes people just straight up not playing the game, which in all honesty, those people are the true winners in this situation. For me, curiosity got the better of me. I put my pirate hat on and I sailed the 7 seas, and I saw with my own 2 eyes what Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties had to offer. In my head, the best case scenario was the leaks were fake and Hamazaki would be the sole issue with this game. But suffice it to say, considering the title and the length of this video, that wasn't the case. In this video, I will be going deeper with why exactly Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties failed for those of you who are intelligent enough not to touch this game with a 10-foot pole. Let's start off with the laziness of this game. They removed Mac and the Revelations mechanic entirely from this game. Revelations were an essential mechanic of the original game that added so much charm and humor to the game to help achieve the series' standard balance of wackiness and crime drama. Stuff like this is what Yakuza is known for, and Yakuza 3 had one of the best showings of it, and they just removed all of it. Why, you may ask? In an interview with Ryosuke Hori, the game's director, he flat out said that it's just too much work, so cuts had to be made. I really don't see how it isn't worth it to add these scenes back, especially when you've added so much focus on Kiryu's flip phone in this game. You can customize it, you can accessorize it, you can do a whole bunch of shit with this phone, and all you had to do was pour over 10 very short cutscenes that would have added a crazy amount of charm to the game. Honestly, if it were up to me, there would be even more revelations, not cut them entirely. That isn't the only lazy thing about this game. Now, I'm not one to nitpick graphics, but holy shit were they even trying to make the building from the plot chapter look good. This shit looks straight out of Gary's mod. Also, whenever you're on top of a building, the skyline just looks straight up awful. And to add insult to injury, this bullshit blue filter doesn't even work when you're in a cutscene. When you're in a cutscene, the game looks normal, and then all of a sudden, when you go out to do some gameplay, back to fucking blue filter, bro. What are we cooking, bro? To top off the string of laziness, the game has 31 sub-stories, which is 75% less than the original's 119. Now, I'm not saying to remake all 119 because I know the sub-story quality has changed dramatically over the years, but isn't that also the charm of the original Yakuza 3? Also, the sub-stories themselves, the new ones, are very, very, very average. There wasn't a singular sub-story in this game that got a chuckle out of me, or had me endeared, or had me really feeling anything. It was very soulless. So if you're gonna limit the sub-stories for quality's sake, you need to ensure that there is quality there to begin with. Another big issue of this game is the lack of rewards. You as the player don't really feel rewarded for much of the things you do. Sure, they'll give you some money and shit like that, but who really cares about money when the older games would give you a small storyline you could follow for every single little thing? While that is present in the biker gang storyline, it's not present in the La La Friends gimmick, and it's not present in the Coliseum, both of which desperately needed something a bit more fleshed out to make the player feel like they've progressed. By the way, on the topic of the La La Friends system, it is just an objectively worse Aloha Links, which already wasn't good, but La La Friends fucking sucks. You need to enter search mode and look at someone and have this 5-second cutscene play out to become La La Friends. And you do not get shit for doing this. A way to make this more rewarding for the player is by having some cutscenes with the La La Friends lady and forming a connection with her and giving the player points per friend they've made, which you could spend on a shop that has exclusive items. Instead, what they did was have the exclusive shop available from the second you unlock Lala Friends, and you could just buy everything with cash and there's no new items to unlock. So the whole system is just categorically useless. Another issue with rewarding the player with things other than money was the Morning Glory storyline, which admittedly the content itself is very good and I loved it. The issue is that it takes 60 fucking business days to actually max out your rank with the kids to get the new content. The new content is done with this thing called family links, which are akin to life and drink links of Yakuza Like a Dragon and Infinite Wealth. But what's different about those games is that you get given substantial bits and pieces of the story the more you bond with your friend, which leads up to the final sub-story, so you're given incentive to keep bonding to get there. And the bonding itself is done naturally throughout the game, so you don't really have to grind or think about getting your bond level up, it just happens. But here in the Morning Glory storyline, it's more like, oh, Ayako likes this pair of shoes. And then you don't hear shit about it unless you go through 54 farming cycles, cook up 30 bento boxes, do all of the kids' homework, and sew together 50 Labubus, and then maybe you'll get a little more. If you're gonna require a grind to unlock the family links, there needs to be substance along the way to keep the player intrigued enough to actually commit to the grind. On the topic of Morning Glory, if you're gonna cut the Morning Glory shit out of the main story to make the side story of Morning Glory the only source of that type of content in the game, why not put the cut segments in there? I found it really heartbreaking that stuff like the Dragon Mask with Taichi was just completely cut from the game, because that was one of my favorite segments of the original Yakuza 3, and I was really looking forward to seeing it here, but alas, it's fully cut. The combat for the most part was pretty good in my opinion, but there are a lot of factors that stop it from being great. For one, you cannot counter a grab from the get-go. So every time you get grabbed, you just kind of have to tank it until you get deep into your skill tree to unlock it. This was just a stupid decision. I mean, why would you go back on 20 years of being able to counter grabs? The new aura break mechanic is good in principle, but in practice, I really don't like how the bosses can just completely regain their aura while they're stunned in the middle of a combo. It makes me feel like I'm not rewarded enough for going through the trouble of breaking their aura if they're just gonna get it back in 10 seconds with nothing that can be done about it. Heat actions have completely lost any goof and are now just hype moments in aura, which is fine, I guess, but the foundations of the Yakuza series was built upon balancing the comedic tone and the dramatic tone, and every time they do a little thing like this, the tone leans more and more towards straight drama, which can be seen as either a positive or a negative depending on the person. For me, I think the balance was key to the enjoyment, and cutting stuff like this just chips away at that balance and makes me feel like the game is just playing way too safe. Bosses only having 2 health bars is something I am completely against. It feels so much better when you go through 9 health bar Nishiki at the end of Kiwami 1, because the health bars make you feel like there's some real struggle against your opponent. When your final boss takes not 2 minutes to beat and only has 2 health bars, to me it doesn't make any sense to see Kiryu out of breath and struggling in the very next cutscene. Which leads me on to difficulty in this game, which is an absolute joke. It's way too easy and fights finish way too fast. It's way too brain rotted. The only quote-unquote difficult fights are the ones where the enemy blocks too much, and at that point it's just frustration, it's not even difficult. Cutting Kamaki from this game is crazy. Like, why am I having this random guy teach me Tiger Drop? I mean, okay, realistically, the replacement is fine, he's not bad, but I mean, you could have had both. Kamaki for the Dragon style and him for the Ryukyu style. Which, by the way, was surprisingly fun, but I just feel like there were too many weapons. So when you try to start a combo with a triangle press and accidentally hold triangle, you're suddenly rowing a boat and it's like, okay man, was this really necessary? For Mine's combat, there isn't much to say, which is exactly the issue. The combat was boring, bro. It was very safe, and even though Dark Ties was only a 3-hour affair, the combat got boring and stale very fast. On the topic of Mine, let me just air out my problems with Dark Ties, which honestly isn't much. I thought that a lot of Dark Ties was actually great and a return to the older vibe of the games, but it isn't without its problems. Number one being, it is way too short. Like, the demo of Dark Ties is genuinely half of chapter 1, and there are only 3 chapters. And the second chapter was extremely padded out, with so much of this forced side content stuff they've been doing recently. For those of you who aren't aware, ever since Infinite Wealth, some genius at RGG decided it was a great idea to force the player to slog through their side content for the game in chapter 2 of every game. This has happened without fail in Infinite Wealth, it happened in Pirate Yakuza, it happened in Kiwami 3, and in my opinion, the worst offender is absolutely Dark Ties. Now, at least in those other games, the side content was at least kind of fun, but in Dark Ties, you have to raise Kanda's reputation by doing a whole lot of bullshit. And you have to get his rank very high just to beat the game. And I think it's extremely obvious they're doing this to mask the length of the game. Because if you cut out the sub-story bullshit, the game is genuinely movie length. Like, it's 2 hours, if that. I think they need to understand that forcing the player to do this will only make them resent the game and won't enlighten them on what the game has to offer. I mean, Kiwami 3 also does this with the Heisei biker storyline, which overall was very average. And it's the same problem there as it is here. And I just really do not see the purpose of having forced side content shoved down your throat. And alas, I cannot talk about Dark Ties without that train wreck of a final cutscene. It was literally going so well. The entire final sequence of the game was incredible, and I was loving it. And the final cutscene was going great until we literally see Mine like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And then the writers have the absolute gall and the audacity to say, I'm just another man who erased his name. Like, what is this MCU horseshit, bro? This was a spit in the face to anybody who's not only a fan of Mine, but a fan of the series as a whole. It's disrespectful writing, and I just don't even know what they were smoking. Like, if you're gonna do something as stupid and baffling as retconning Mine's death, at least try. Give an attempt to give us the respect of coming up with a better way to say it than I'm just another man who erased his name. What are we cooking? Okay, back to Kiwami 3. The added content was extremely mixed. I mean, some of it, I'm not gonna lie, was actually great. Like, Kiryu absolutely shitting on Kanda one more time just for the love of the game. Or the people of Okinawa helping you fix the orphanage. Or the beginning with Rikia helping him with that gang before you meet Nakahara. But then you just have all the new Hamazaki stuff, which at best were just bad and at worst completely insufferable. Like, what even is that post-credit scene? Are we really gonna do some MCU alternate timeline shit where Hamazaki doesn't stab Kiryu and a butterfly effects into Yakuza 4 reimagined Daidoji timeline Kiwami? What is my game coming to, man? What is this shit, bro? I mean, some of these decisions, man, it's just baffling. Also, if you want my thoughts on Hamazaki's actor, I already made a whole video delving into that. But TLDR, he's a despicable piece of shit and I wanted him no part in this game. But if you just humor me for just a moment, forget everything you know about him, and just watch this scene.
中国の包丁はよく切れるな。これだったら人間の首も真っ二つだ。試してみてえな。
This guy fucking sucks. He sucks. He's not even a good actor. He doesn't even give a good performance. He's actually awful. I mean, you, as a studio, threw your goodwill with your fans in the fucking shitter for this performance? This is what you were hyping up? What are these executives smoking? Yokoyama, you, brother, you. What are you smoking, man? Now, on the topic of shitty recasts, why would you do this to Rikia, bro? His look and his voice in the original matched his character and added a lot to his personality and just the general vibe you got off him. He was a lovable doofus. This new Rukia is vanilla and boring as fuck compared to his predecessor. There was just no need. Even like the deeply emotional scenes with him just don't hit the same anymore. I don't even see them as the same character. OG Rukia had that shit on. This new Rukia is a bum. Nakahara, he was okay, I guess, but he just kind of did the same shit as the original, and my nostalgic bias will always favor the original. And I think that about covers everything. I mean, I'm sure I'm missing some stuff, but this is all I could think of as of right now. I mean, what I find really crazy is that RGG Studio probably had one of the highest reputations of any game studio just 2 short years ago. And since then, it's pretty much gone down the complete shitter. From where I've stand, to say I've completely lost my passion isn't quite true, but I will say that a lot of the goodwill RGG has built up has recently fallen in my eyes. I feel like Stranger Than Heaven is extremely make or break for my trust in RGG Studio going forward, because all of their this could be copium, but all of their fuck ups in my eyes have come from side projects, and the main big budget games have yet to falter in my opinion. So if Stranger Than Heaven is some straight ass cheeks, some serious questions have to be asked. I'm just really disappointed, man. I'm really disappointed. I wanted to like this so much, and it felt like every single week leading up to release, I was given a new reason not to be excited for this game, to the point where when the game came out, I'm recording this on the 22nd of February, the game came out like 11th for me. It's taken me 11 days to beat a Yakuza game. That has literally never happened. I'm usually even Infinite Wealth, I was there within a week. I had that entire game beat within a week, and that was during fucking midterm season. I was going through it. I didn't have time, but I fucking made time, dude. And that was the passion I had for the series back then. Now it's just kind of like, okay, I have like 2 hours spare. My friends aren't fucking playing anything, so I might as well hop on Yakuza. I hope this shit gets fixed. I really do. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time, and peace.